All right, welcome back once again, family, friends, tribe. This is Brendan. This is Wolf, aka Mystic Spider-Man. You're tuned in for another live tarot readings with Wolf. We're broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. So wherever you happen to be tuned in right now, go ahead and drop a quick 1111. Let me know that you guys can hear me okay. Just be able to do some sound check. And if you are tuned in on Facebook, please help out by sharing this broadcast with your friends. Once we have about 10 people in the YouTube or in the Facebook at least, then we will do our first reading for tonight. And then our second reading will be for the first person who signs up for the Patreon tonight. And give me 2 seconds here as I just set things up. And for those of you tuning in on Instagram, we are broadcasting on YouTube at the same time. So if you're sticking around, go to my Instagram story and swipe up there as well. So clicking a couple more buttons here. Jackie, Josh, thanks so much for joining in, everyone. For those of you who have been here before, you know a little bit about what to expect. This is a chance for us to be able to practice receiving some inspirational messages from the universe, to be able to get some additional insight, clarity, and inspiration. Alisa, Samantha, Kiss, thank you so much for joining in. You guys can hear me okay, dropping the 1111s in the chat. Awesome. Stand by for the instructions. And give me 2 seconds here as I just have to take an extra moment to be able to click a few buttons here in Master Control, aka share this broadcast to a couple different groups. And again, if you're on any platform, here are the rules. So here are the guidelines, here are the instructions. So what we do here is that we do a first initial reading straight for someone out of the chat. And if you would like a reading for that, all you have to do is share this broadcast. So if you're on Facebook, share it to a group. If you're on YouTube, you can still share the link as well. And especially if you're on YouTube, be sure to like the button on the like button on YouTube as well. And then drop 333 in the comments and let me know that you are looking for a reading. But the way how we do this is that in addition to this being like individual readings, this is also a collective reading. So when we do a reading here, what we do is we have the simple intention of show us what we need to see. And when we do this, we allow ourselves to be able to receive whatever message comes through. And yeah, and so again, we're just keeping an eye on things. I'm just clicking a couple buttons here, so give me 2 seconds here as I just shift my focus in the next couple moments. But again, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're tuned in, even Instagram, Twitch, thank you so much, first of all. And again, here are the instructions. Go ahead, share this broadcast. If you would like a reading, share this broadcast. If you'd like to be eligible for a reading, share the broadcast and drop a 333 in the comments, and then stand by for the next instructions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a number to enter into the chat, and then the fifth person to enter that number into the chat will be the first person who we do a reading for on air tonight. And Taylor, thank you so much for joining in. For those of you on any platform, again, we broadcast on multiple platforms that way so people can tune in wherever they are able to do so. And so give me 2 seconds here as I just double check some things, and I'll do my best to be able to keep an eye on the chat. So we got about 3 people tuned in on Facebook right now. Once we get up to about 10 people on the Facebook, then we will do the first reading for the community, for the group. So when you share it, you're not just helping promote what we're doing here, but you're helping share the inspiration of what it is that we're creating as a community. And for those of you on Instagram, hey, Cosmic Dragon, you know the drill. Jump over to YouTube and swipe up there. Sorry, jump over to my Instagram story and swipe up there for the YouTube link. And so give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to share this into one other group. I can only share this to so many groups. If I share it to too many groups, then Facebook will take away my privilege to be able to share the groups. So if you're tuned in on Facebook and you would like to be eligible for the first reading, share this broadcast and drop 333 in the comments. And I got things all set up now, so I've shared it as much as I can. And so again, what we're going to do, the first reading will be for someone straight out of the chat. But again, as we do the readings, they are like collective team readings. So if you are here, there is a message here for you. The second reading that we do on air is with the next person who signs up for the Patreon, and I'll give you a little bit more information about that. Again, the intention with these broadcasts is to be able to help provide awesome value for the community by doing these readings, by providing additional inspiration and clarity, and also by being able to help invite people to support on Patreon, which is an awesome website to be able to help support artists who we enjoy, who we love. And that support on Patreon allows these broadcasts and much more to be possible for the community. So thank you again to all our Patreon supporters. And again, when you sign up on Patreon, that's a monthly micro donation, $3, $5, $11, $1 million, whatever works for you. And for those of you who are familiar with my work, you know what I do, what I am. For those of you who aren't familiar, my name is Brendan. I'm a award-winning Canadian filmmaker, full-time conscious media creator. I've done over 1 million broadcasts. I've created full-length movies, lots and lots of videos, free hugs videos, inspirational videos of all different sorts, consciousness shifting videos. And so go ahead and check out the Patreon when you can. And if you would like to jump the line to be able to get that next reading on air or a private reading, then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon, and it only takes about 3 minutes. And when you sign up for the Patreon, you can also get a super beautiful Light Guardian crystal for a simple pay what you wish contribution. So that's a super awesome deal for the Light Guardian crystals. And again, these are exclusive items that we make for the community. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but let's just check in real quick. So for everybody here who's on the broadcast on any platform, if you would like to be eligible for the first reading that we're doing here today, just go ahead and drop a 333 in the chat. And I just want to make sure, I just want to see how many people we have tuned in right now. And if it's your first time here, drop a 222 in the chat. That way, so I can just give you a special welcome and shout out. So thank you to, again, people on any platform tuning into this. Again, if you're on Facebook, please help share this broadcast to some groups. We only have about 3 people tuned in on Facebook. The Facebook reach is very minimal these days, so it's up to the team to be able to help share it around. And again, if you're on YouTube, then please feel free to like the video and also share it as well. So if you would like a reading, those are the simple instructions. Share the video. And then again, if you want, drop a 333 in the comments to let me know that you're interested in the reading, and then stay tuned for the initial instructions. I'm going to give you a number. And the 5th person to enter that number into the chat will be the first person that we do a reading for today. And we've been doing these broadcasts for quite a while. And again, this is an awesome way for us to be able to get awesome like information, clarity, and there we go. And again, just to be able to cultivate some inspiration for the community in what it is that we are doing here. So right on. Awesome. Thank you again, everybody, so much for joining. And we got Alyssa, Samantha, Kiss, Dolores, Taylor, and Asia. And go ahead and keep on leaving some comments in the chat. Your engagement is greatly appreciated. And again, if you would like a reading, I just want to make sure that we got enough people ready for our first reading. So if you would like a reading, if you would like to be eligible for a first reading, go ahead and drop a 333 in the comments. I just want to make sure that we got enough people. If we got like at least like 5 people who are ready for a first reading, then we'll go from there. And again, thank you to everyone tuning in on any platform that we are broadcasting on. Again, that's Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube as well. So let me just check a couple things here. Awesome. Sweet. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and swipe up on my Instagram story to be able to tune in. So again, when we do the readings here, the way how we do them is to be able to set the intention of show me what I need to see. So in that sense, basically what we want to be able to do is to be able to allow ourselves to be able to just like open up to that idea without having to ask like a very specific question, but basically just being open to being able to see what the universe has for us on this broadcast, in this reading. So go ahead, for everybody here, drop a 333 in the chat if you would like to be able to like take part in the first initial reading that it is that we are doing here. So again, so I don't necessarily like answer particular questions. For those of you like asking questions in the chat, that's not so much what I do so I'll just explain. So with the readings that I do, the basic way that I do it is by being able to allow ourselves to be able to, for you to be able to receive a message from the universe. And then what I do is I help act as a conduit for it. So in that sense, like what I do is not necessarily a psychic reading. It's not a fortune telling in that sense. It's just to be able to receive additional clarity, insight, and inspiration. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. For those of you tuning in on Facebook, go ahead. Josh, I can see you there. Kevin, thanks so much for joining in. Asiya, thank you again so much, everyone, for joining in. It looks like we've only got a few people who are looking for a reading at this moment. And again, I wanted to be able to, I have a private reading coming up at 9 p.m. So I wanted to be able to jump on here for a bit. So let's get in at least a couple readings. Yeah, so again, for everybody here, we're still getting into our first reading. I just need to be able to, we're going to do our first reading once I know that there's at least like 4 or 5 people here who are interested in that first reading. So if you want that first reading, if you would like to be chosen for that first reading, then go ahead and drop a 333 into the comments. And so I can see we got Josh, we got Fab, and we got Asiya. Awesome. All right. So with that said, I'll give you guys the next instructions. All right. So again, so the way how, for those of you who may be here the first time, I'll just explain real quick and then we'll get right into our first reading. So we do the first reading for someone straight out of the chat. And what I do is I'm going to give you a number and then we'll say the 4th person who enters the number into the chat across Facebook and across YouTube and across Twitch as well. And then we'll do the reading for them. But again, when we do the reading for the individual, it's also a reading for the community as well. And then the next reading that we do will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. So when we do these broadcasts, yes, this is about being able to provide awesome readings for the community. And it is also about being able to help support and invite people to contribute to my Patreon, which again allows me to do more broadcasts like these. And it allows me to be able to continue to create more awesome content for the community as well. So awesome. Fab, thanks so much for joining in. All right. So let's get right into the first reading. And then from there, while everybody's here, please feel free to keep sharing the broadcast. So for everybody here, here's your instructions. I'm going to give you a number, and then we're going to say the 4th person to enter this number into the chat will be the next person, the first person who we do a reading for today. And then the next reading will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. And we'll keep an eye open for the Patreon. And again, the Patreon is a monthly micro contribution. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So here is the number for everybody here. So if you haven't already yet, share this broadcast with your friends. For everybody here, the number that I'm going to give you and be the 4th person to enter this number into the chat, meaning don't enter it in right away. Like I'm going to tell it to you, take a breath, and then you're going to hit enter, and then you're going to enter that number into the chat. Cool. All right, so the number that I'm going to give you, if you would like to be able to enter into the first reading for today, and if you're the 4th person, then we'll choose the reading for you. The number that I'm giving you is a number 777. So if you're here in the chat, then go ahead and drop a 777 into the chat. But just wait a second, like take a breath to be able to just like feel it out, listen to your intuition, and then drop a 777 into the chat. And the 4th person who enters 777 into the chat across Facebook and YouTube and Twitch will be the first person who we do a reading for today. And again, for any of those of you who are here, welcome, especially if it's your first time. And again, if you are just here, go ahead. There's still time for you to drop a 777 into the chat. And the 4th person who enters that will be the first person that we do a reading for today. All right. Okay, cool. So awesome. So the first person that we're going to do a reading for today is going to be Xavier Robinson in the Facebook chat. So Xavier, thank you so much for joining in. And again, that's based on the fact that there's the YouTube chat and there's the Facebook chat. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. So with that said, we're going to get right into the first reading for Xavier. And then again, for any of you who are here, know that this, simply by you being here, we're going to do a reading like with Xavier helping facilitate it. But at the same time, if you're here, this message is for you. And again, when we do these readings, this isn't so much like supposed to be a fortune telling or it's meant to be like a psychic prediction. This is a chance for you anyone listening to this to be able to receive a message from the universe, and for myself and for you to be able to help work as conduits to be able to deliver it. So the first reading that we'll do for Xavier, and then the next reading that we will do will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. And for those of you who are checking this out right now, go ahead and you can take a look at the Patreon as we're doing this broadcast. And again, for those of you who are brand new, my name is Brendan. I'm a full-time conscious media creator, award-winning Canadian filmmaker, and I focus on creating inspirational conscious content to be able to help assist and accelerate the shift in consciousness. So go ahead and check out my Patreon when you can. You can find out some more there. All right, cool. Let's get right into this reading. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in and for your patience and for being here. All right, so for Xavier, for you here, again, what I want to be able to do, I want to be able to invite people to just begin to bring themselves to their hearts. Bring themselves into their heart space. Just bring themselves into that space of gratitude. Just take another breath here. Gentle inhale. Gentle exhale. And just allow yourself to connect with that heart space. Allow yourself to connect with gratitude. Now, Xavier, what I'm going to tell you to do, and for everybody here, is to bring yourself to the intention of show me what I need to see. Very simple, but very powerful. Show me what I need to see. And then Xavier, what you're going to do, you're going to take a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, you're going to type now into the chat. And then when you type now, I'm going to pull a card for you from the deck. So this is like a cool way for you to be able to help facilitate this. So again, for everybody here, go ahead, like put forth that intention with Xavier as a team. Show us what we need to see. Show me what I need to see. I'm just going to charge the deck here for another second. So Xavier, take your time. Take another breath. And so as we join here once again, my friends, to be able to learn this lesson that never ends, we come forth and we listen to the cards, for it is the knowledge that they share that connects us with these stars, the stars that are inside, the stars that are above, the stars that bring forth the wisdom of this love. And so let us listen to this moment. Let us connect with our breath. Let us devote ourselves to always doing our best to show up each and every single day with passion, to allow ourselves to bring forth the passion. And there is a now. And so as we pull the cards, we allow ourselves to see. We allow ourselves to go far. So there's the card that we're going to put. Whoa, that's interesting. Wow, that is so weird. I'll tell you why that's so weird in a second. That is interesting. Very cool. All right, so Xavier, the first card, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, again, for joining us. And so the first card that we have pulled on behalf of Xavier is the King of Flames. And so hold on one second as I open up to the book, and this is the Ananda Tarot deck. So the way how I do this, for those of you who are new, first of all, welcome, thank you, please feel free to follow my stuff. And the way how we do this is that I read from the deck, read from the book about what the card, what it says within the deck, what it says within the book, and then from there what I do is I interpret it even further, and then I just kind of like free flow, and I bring forth like any sort of like, again, kind of like channeled intuitive wisdom for you to be able to receive. So this card is for Xavier within the card, but within the chat. But again, if anybody is here, know that this message, that this reading is for you as well. So for everybody here, allow yourself to just be present with this reading. And again, we'll do this first reading for Xavier, and then the next reading that we will do will be for the next person who signs up to the Patreon. And you can sign up for the Patreon a little bit later too. And when you do that, you can also get a private reading if you wish, opposed to the on-air reading. All right. Cool. All right, so King of Flames. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. You guys are awesome. For those of you on Facebook, please feel free to just share this like to a few groups. Again, because the message is like what you're sharing. It's the inspiration that we're sharing together. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. And for those of you here for the first time, my name is Brendan. It's nice to meet you. Thank you so much. All right. So Xavier, for everybody here, listen, just be present. Thank you again, everyone. I'll give some shout outs after we do this card. King of Flames. Oh yeah, and I have to tell you, why is this? I told you, I'm like, it was really weird that we pulled this card. You know why it was weird? Like, honestly, it's super synchronistic. So the deck, look at it. See how many cards were face up? Oh, there's one that's face the wrong way too. But anyways, it was weird because that card happened to be faced in the opposite direction. And then, like, it was the one card that we pulled, but I didn't realize there were other cards pulled there. But it was just weird. It was like already ready to be pulled. So sometimes it works that way. I'll tell you another cool story after this too. All right. King of Flames. The image. From the flaming embers of an illuminated sky, an enlightened figure similar to an angel comes down to earth. So we'll just take a literal look at the card here. I usually do this first. And so literally what we have here, this is a very powerful image. So you can see this like angel with his arms spread out, this person, presumably a male, draped with a cloth around their waist. And it's very interesting because like with their arms like that, you know, it's basically this idea that it looks like they're like spreading their arms like an angel, but at the same time, it's very much like they're almost like on a crucifixion, like they're on the cross. And you can see the sun kind of illuminating right from the point of their crown, or right from the point of their head, and these super rich colors, like rich flaming colors. And you can see the earth kind of like on the base just below their knees, with a flight of stairs kind of descending down below or up above. It's hard to tell from the perception. And wow, that's such a powerful image. Okay, let's get right into reading this. Okay, so again, all right. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Again, we'll do this reading. For those of you who are interested in the next reading will be available for the next person who adds their support on Patreon. And again, that's a monthly micro contribution. But go ahead, check out the work that I do there. You're not just supporting me, you're supporting the whole community. So thank you, Xavier. Let's get right into this. You guys are awesome. I'm going to read it again. The image. From the flaming embers of an illuminated sky, an enlightened figure similar to an angel comes down to earth. And Xavier, just go ahead and leave a comment in the chat. Just let us know that you're here. I just want to make sure that you're still here. Again, if you're here, this card is for you. This message is for you. Meaning. In the King of Flames, a masculine aspect of the fire element is embodied in the graceful visage of an enlightened mind as the epitome of zest for life. Through the connection of the air element with the fire element, mind and will melt into a unit of pure life force. The expansive character that the King of Flames represents is revealed as a powerful expression of healthy confidence. I'm going to reread that again. The expansive character that the King of Flames represents is revealed as a powerful expression of healthy confidence. The synthesis of thought and action shows its consciousness as an immortal mind. The synthesis of thought and action shows its consciousness as a mortal mind and selfless deeds. True power and inner strength are shown as mental greatness in a selflessly acting being. I'm going to reread that. The synthesis of thought and action shows its consciousness as a mortal mind and selfless deeds. True power and inner strength are shown as mental greatness in a selflessly acting being. Human warmth, generosity, and idealism are also main traits of inner richness. The King of Flames is revealed as an inspired mind who sets signs. In trusting inner power, things are possible that previously were not in the realms of possibility. I'll reread that. In trusting inner power, things are possible that previously were not in the realm of possibilities. Long-harbored ideas urge to be brought to fruition. All that is necessary is taking the first step. Astrological significance: Sun, Mercury, Leo, fire and air elements. Keywords: enlightenment, sudden ideas, idealism, broadening the horizon, zest for life, self-realization, development, conviction. Traditional meaning: willpower, self-confidence, driving forces, human warmth, urge for action, openness, power and greatness, leadership qualities, generosity. And generosity. Wow. Okay, cool. So for all of you who are here hearing this card, this is a very, very, very powerful card to be able to receive. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube. And yeah, thank you again for joining. So for Xavier's already saying, Xavier's saying fire sign Sagittarius. Xavier, are you a Sagittarius? Like, is that what you're saying? If so, then that's like super dope to be able to receive this card. And so again, when we do these cards, again, this card, like, it's not supposed to be a fortune telling. When I do these, this is a chance for like the mirror to be able to sometimes, for the universe to be able to hold a mirror up to us, for us to be able to see parts of ourselves. And so for you, Xavier, for anybody here listening to this, I think this is a very, very powerful card to be able to receive that reminds you of your power, that reminds you of your natural leadership abilities, that reminds you to be able to take the time to reflect, to be able to ask yourself, what does it mean? What does it mean to be the King of Flames? And so sometimes, you know, when it comes to being a flame wielder, sometimes that takes an element of growth. And there are times where we're trying to hold the fire and we're just like, I don't know what to do. This is like so much energy and things like that. And sometimes it can like be put in certain directions. And sometimes with like Sagittarius and stuff like that, like also potent that sometimes it will kind of like, it can when yielded without mindfulness, yet still a part of the lesson, it can sometimes kind of lead to, I don't want to just like say this in a negative way, but it can lead to sometimes like addictive personality traits, understanding that those traits in themselves are the vices that sharpen the stone of our will. But as we continue to evolve, you know, from the knight to the prince to the king of flames, this is really about being able to acknowledge that now is the time for us to continue to step into more of our responsibility, for us to be able to use our power, not just for our own satisfaction, not just for another night of partying, not just for like, you know, more lust and just like sensational fulfillment, but it's really inviting us to be able to say, like, how do we want to use this power? How do we want to use this power to serve? How do we want to use this power to create? How do we want to use this power to truly be a king? And what does the king do? The king puts the others before themselves. And so for everybody here listening to this, this is acknowledging the fact that we have the power and the greatness inside of us, that we have the leadership qualities inside of us. And sometimes we just need to be able to, again, continue to remind ourselves, to continue to be reminded. And how do we remind ourselves of this? By taking the first step. And so I know a lot of people, they're just like, I'm not a leader. Like, I'm not a leader. From my perspective, leading community and being a leader myself, I firmly believe that each and every single one of us has a leader inside of us. They have the seed of the leader inside of us. And I think what's interesting is that sometimes when you think about it, seeds like pine cones, they open up when under extreme heat, when under extreme pressure. So when we use our fire to be able to take that first step, we are also opening up our seed, despite the fact that we may be uncertain, despite the fact that we may be a little, you know, like uneasy, despite the fact that we may not be in that place of full confidence. Yet when we allow ourselves to move into that first step, we allow ourselves to continue to learn as we do so. The King of Flames is revealed as an inspired mind who sets signs, entrusting in a power. Things are possible that previously were not in the realm of possibility. So again, with this card, Xavier, and for everybody here, this card is really inviting us to be able to know that it is through that step of sometimes into the unknown that we continue to level up as the leader that we have always been. That it is in those circumstances that are outside of our comfort zone that we allow ourselves to see the gift of meeting who we are, of meeting that leader that has always been a part of our nature, yet we just haven't fully birthed it yet. We just haven't fully nurtured it yet. Long harbored ideas urge to be brought to fruition. All that is necessary is taking the first step. So for Xavier and for everybody here, I really encourage you to think, like, what am I passionate about? What ideas are inside of me that have yet to be brought into this reality? What do I really want to do? Like, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. What does your heart want to do? What is your soul calling? What is your mission? What is your purpose? And again, that purpose part, that may be a big question, but if anything, I will just say find purpose through service. And so for you, Xavier, you know, like, This could be like something related to art. This could be something related to dancing. This could be something related to just like putting yourself in a social circumstance that may be a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Or this could go like even further, and maybe it could go into like the idea of like event coordination. It could go into video production. It could be something about like singing and like putting yourself out there on camera. Yet the idea here with any of the flame signs is the idea that when you do this, when you simply live your own passion, when you live your own heart song, you give others the permission to do the same. You lead by example. You lead simply by being, opposed to telling others what to do. Like, that is a sign. Like, a good leader will be like, you know, like, instead of being like, hey, do this, do this, do this, instead it's like, I'm going to do this and I'm inviting you to join me. I'm going to start dancing and I'm inviting you to join me. Again, it's kind of like that video where you see like that one guy dancing and then like a crowd begins to form around him. That very much is like the King of Flames archetype. And so again, the expansive character that the King of Flames represents is revealed as a powerful expression of healthy self-confidence. So what does healthy self-confidence mean? Again, so for you, Xavier, and for everybody listening to this, I think this is a great chance for you to be able to reflect on like being confident in the fact that you are soul, being confident in the fact that your path is divine, being confident in the fact that you are always learning, being confident in being vulnerable, being confident in being flexible, being confident in knowing that things will reveal themselves to you as you take those steps into the uncertainty. There's a very simple metaphor, and I'll just say this and we'll get close to wrapping this up. But again, basically it's this idea that, you know, sometimes people, they have trouble getting going. The basic metaphor that I share with you is the idea that you can't steer a parked car. And so sometimes it's that idea that you start moving and then you start figuring it out. A lot of people will never get moving because they're too afraid to kind of like not know how to do it. But if you do it, if you take that first step, that's all you need. A lot of people and sometimes society will tell us that you need to get the next 50 steps figured out. Honestly, we're not going to take all of those next 50 steps at once. So why worry ourselves about them when we're only going to take one step at a time? So take that first step, just listening to your excitement, listening to what calls within your heart. And then you trust in this process, doing it, knowing that the path will open up, knowing that the answer will reveal itself to you. Xavier says, I'm a model and I always wanted to do something with cosmetics as well. Very cool, Xavier. So again, I think like that's very cool, Xavier. The fact that you're a model, like that's a very powerful like position. That's a very powerful role to be able to do with that. And so I think it's very interesting to think of like, you know, like when people see models, you know, they literally see like role models, right? They give people something to aspire to. And I think oftentimes in today's like society, you know, a lot of times like, yeah, like sometimes there's going to be a level of superficiality to that. But I think it's very powerful when we have those models that who are kind of like bridging the worlds of mindfulness and modeling and celebrating beauty, but doing it in a way of healthy confidence. That's doing it in a way to say like, hey, I'm not here modeling and I expect you to be like me, but I'm here expressing my beauty and I want you to express your beauty because you are beautiful and you don't have to look like me. I only want you to express yourself, to express your authentic self. And that's what makes you beautiful. It's not like the visual standards of meeting XYZ, but it is the energy that you bring forward into what you do that makes you beautiful. So I think again, for all the sages in the house, hey Emily, this is a very, very powerful card, but for all of us, this is a powerful card too, for again, to be able to check in with ourselves. How is our confidence? Is our confidence a healthy confidence? How can it become more grounded? How can we kind of balance ourselves out? Maybe with a little bit of earth medicine, a little bit of like earth element to make sure that we're not just like too fire, too up in the air. So again, I think that comes when we realize how powerful our story is to be able to inspire and influence others, but then to do it from a very humble place, to do it from a very humble heart. So as we continue to enlighten ourselves, we continue to see the places with where we stand within our places of privilege and our places of role models that we can make influence. So of Xavier, you know, like if you already have the attention of people, like what do you want to tell them? What do you want to say? You know, like I think if it like you wouldn't want like a person in a place, you know, that's why I feel like if there was like a celebrity out there, like, dude, if I was a celebrity, like I wouldn't just be like posting superficial stuff. I'd be like, yo, like here's an inspiring message to help you look deeper into your soul. And so you can kind of like begin to mix mindfulness and consciousness into that world of like modeling in a way that's just like authentic, and it actually makes you stand out. It actually makes like the audience just be able to notice it, and they'll be like, whoa, this is something different, this is something powerful, this is something unique, this is something authentic. So cool. So again, keywords: enlightenment, sudden ideas, idealism, broadening the horizon, zest for life, self-realization, development, conviction, traditional meaning, willpower, self-confidence, driving forces, human warmth, urge for action, openness, power and greatness, leadership qualities, generosity. So for anybody listening to this, let this be a very, very powerful card for you to be able to see your power, as a leader, but then to be able to walk that path in a place of service, in a place of generosity, in a place of confidence, yet knowing that your confidence is inspiring other people to embody and activate their own confidence as well. So I think this is a very, very powerful card. So Xavier, thank you so much for helping us pull that card, and thank you to the whole team. Thank you to the whole team for helping us pull forth that card. So Xavier, and for anybody else here, if this card resonates with you, drop an 1111 into the chat and let me know. And you can just explain a little bit more. How does this card resonate for you? So Xavier, if you want to let us know how this card resonates with you, absolutely, please feel free to let us know in the chats. And thanks again. And Fab, you're asking, may we see the other card that was face up? I already shuffled that into the deck, so if it's meant to be, it will turn up. It will turn up in another reading. But I'll tell you a quick story of what happened one time when I was doing a reading in a second, so which was pretty phenomenal. So again, thank you so much, Xavier. Thank you so much, everyone, again for being here in the chat. So Xavier and anybody else here, if you haven't yet, please feel free to subscribe to my content. You can connect to my YouTube channel. I'll just post a link for that as well, where you can also tune into this broadcast and future broadcasts live at youtube.com/skullbabylon. You can see the link for that up in the top. And yeah, Xavier, thank you again as well. So if anybody else here, if you guys resonate with that, just go ahead and drop an 1111 and I'll give you some shout outs. So shout out to, again, Xavier, shout out to Catherine, shout out to Fab Pat, shout out to Emily Elizabeth. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in on Facebook. John, Tim, and DS Angel Lucky, thank you so much for joining in, and thank you so much for sharing it to the groups. I super appreciate that. So with that said, we'll just take a very quick intermission and create a couple moments here to be able to invite anybody interested to be able to sign up for the Patreon. And so again, what we do here with these readings is our focus on being able to provide awesome value for the community through these readings, to provide inspirational insight, clarity, and inspiration, as I said, and also to be able to help connect more people to the work that I do, to be able to help invite them to support on Patreon. And the Patreon is where you can also sign up to be able to get some beautiful Light Guardian crystals. So these are handmade items that I make, and these are quartz crystals. They are manifested from the higher dimensional dream spaces, and you can get a Light Guardian crystal as a pay what you wish after you sign up for the Patreon. And if you sign up at the $11 a month level or higher, you can also get a Lumerian Light Guardian crystal as an option. And also at the $11, you can also join our private membership space within the Paradigm Shift Central project, which allows you to be involved with future Synergy Circle broadcasts, and also access to our private team chat, and also additional perks as well. And anytime that you sign up on the Patreon, you also get discounts for items at the Quest item shop. So if anybody here is interested or in the process of signing up for the Patreon, go ahead. It only takes about 3 minutes to be able to sign up. And again, that's with a monthly micro contribution. And it only takes, a couple minutes to sign up. So if anybody here is interested in signing up, go ahead and leave a comment there in the chat, and that will get you the next reading on air. And if and we'll take a few minutes here, and we'll see from there. If there's no new Patreon right at this moment, that's totally okay, and we can still do one more reading for anybody in the team chat, though it is of course highly appreciated if we do get that additional Patreon sign up, and then that helps us reach our goal. We usually have a goal of at least like 2 Patreon signups during the broadcast, and you can see we're currently working towards 150. I actually have the goal of, like, once I get to like 300 Patreon supporters, I want to be able to go to Rhythmia and document my experience working with ayahuasca. So So it's a little bit of a target. So that's one of the many things that you'll be supporting. But again, you can check out my Patreon with a lot more information there as well, including links to full-length movies that I've already done, lots of inspirational broadcasts, guided meditations, and yeah, thank you so much. Pat says, I knew I was drawn here. Am I from Lumeria, Atlantis? Fab Pat says. You know what, Pat? I'm sure maybe all of us in some way are probably from Lumeria or Atlantis. I don't necessarily claim to be from one place or another, but at the same time, I'm definitely open to the ideas, and I'm fascinated by the concept of Lumeria and Atlantis. So here's a super beautiful Lumerian Light Guardian crystal there, and you can see the colors change on these. So there's like different versions. You get like a single color light, and you also get a multicolor changing light with any of the Light Guardian crystals. So I'll show you this here. So you can see this one here, it rotates there. And you can also use these as like meditation tools, and you can use these as dance tools. Like I love going onto like EDM dance floors and like dancing with these. And you can use these for a lot of things. You can use these for energy work too. So if you're like a Reiki practitioner, I'm a Reiki 1 level practitioner, and you can like use these for like energy clearing, like kind of like energy screwdrivers in a sense. And yeah, you can use them to sleep with. You can like hold them on your hand while sleeping, and you can like bring it with you into the dream space. I know people that have done that. That's super, super powerful idea. And yeah, you can also like use them just as like little like toys. They're kind of like little like race cars. Yeah. So again, you can get one of these either through the questitemshop.com, and the normal price for those is $35 or up. It's a pay what you wish, or $50 and up if it's a Lumerian. But again, if you sign up for the Patreon, it's a super awesome deal, and you can get one for literally as much as you wish to pay. So again, how much would these cost? As much as you wish to pay after you sign up for the Patreon. And that's a super, super valuable and awesome deal that we got there. So we'll take a couple minutes here. Thank you again, everyone. Fab Pat. So if anybody here is interested in signing up for the Patreon, just go ahead and let me know. And we'll just take another moment for this. I'm just going to sip on some tea real quick. And for those of you who are here for the first time, drop a 222 in the chat and let me know, because I have to I'm going to be doing this reading broadcast until 9 p.m. and then I have to jump off for a private reading that I am doing with a recent Patreon supporter who signed up. So boop, 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 boop. So again, if anybody here is interested in signing up for the Patreon, you can always sign up a little bit later, and we'll keep an eye open for that. I'd love to be able to get at least one Patreon sign up during this broadcast, and again, that will be also like that will help us do the next reading for the team as well. So here's a super beautiful chunky quartz one. This one's like super big. This is one I was using for my microphone in one of my videos. My video interviewing drunk students about metaphysics, spirituality, and like aliens, dreams, and dimensions. If you check out my YouTube channel, you can find that video. So awesome. So I'm just going to read some of the comments here. Note that I do read every comment. And Fab Pat, 3 is my life path number for me. I've been seeing numbers like that everywhere. 77 and 123 are among those numbers. Awesome. They're beautiful. Thanks, Emily. Cool. So again, if anybody here, just please feel free to connect with my profile afterwards. And yeah, you can sign up for the Patreon at literally $3. You can sign up for the Patreon at, and again, that's a monthly micro donation, and the donation doesn't process until November 1st. So you could sign up for that, and again, that will get you the next reading or a private reading, and it will also give you the chance to be able to choose to get a Light Guardian crystal for like an extra pay what you wish. So you could literally like sign up for $3, and then you could like pay like $5 extra, which helps cover shipping, and then you can get one of these beautiful Light Guardian crystals. And again, these are handmade by me, channeled from the higher dimensional dream space, exclusive items within the Paradigm Shift Central project. So awesome. Sweet. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube as well. All right, so let's just check in real quick. If anybody here is in the process of signing up for the Patreon, just go ahead and leave a quick comment in the chat. For anybody here who would like to be able to be eligible for the next reading that we are going to do, again, if we don't have someone signed up for the Patreon in the next couple minutes, that's okay. That's okay. Awesome. Fab, thanks for joining in. Appreciate it. Fab says, I'm a intuitive reader. I stopped and your feed was buzzing, man. Yeah, our feed, we get pretty excited here during our feeds, and I like to do things a little bit differently. And again, I've been creating conscious media for like 10 years. So if you just want to like see more of what I do, even if you just check out my Patreon, it will just tell you a little bit more about me, what I do, a little bit of my background, my story. But yeah, I've been creating like conscious media for 10 years, doing lots of broadcasts. So if we get another Patreon sign up in the next couple minutes, that person will do a reading for them. If not, that's okay. I still want to be able to do another reading either way. So for anybody here, if you're interested in signing up for the Patreon eventually, drop an 888 into the chat and just go ahead and like let me know that. And if you are interested in being eligible for our next reading, if we don't get another Patreon sign up in the next couple minutes, drop a 333 in the chat and stay tuned for the next set of instructions. And the next set of instructions will be me giving you a number, and then the fourth person who enters that number into the chat will be the next person who we do a reading for. And thank you again to all the Patreon supporters already who again help make these broadcasts possible for the community. So awesome. Thank you, DS. Appreciate it. One new YouTuber. Yeah, thanks for subscribing to my YouTube. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there. So all right, and thank you again to our recent Patreon supporters, Sebastian, Shauna Lee, Allison, Placebo, and many, many more. So I'll keep an eye open for notification for a new Patreon sign up. And again, if no pressure, if you have $3 extra a month and you like to support the ongoing shift in consciousness, then supporting on the Patreon is a super, super awesome and appreciated way. So thank you again, everyone. All right. Let's get ready to move into our next chat. And if anybody signs up, know that you can also get a private reading for me. But since I'm only on here till 9, I want to be able to, just honor the fact that we got people here and provide some more awesome value for you guys. So, all right. So for everybody here, if you would like to be able to be eligible for this next reading, just drop a 333 in the comments. Meaning if you're looking to be chosen from the chat for this next reading, drop a 333 in the comments. And then we'll figure out how many people are looking for a reading right now. And then from there, I'll give you the next number. And then the fourth person to enter that number into the chat will be the next person that we do a reading for on air. So, and thank you again, everyone. Thank you again. Send you guys like so much good vibes. I'll send you some like Reiki vibes through the broadcast. So. All right, so we see I got David looking for a reading. David, thank you so much for joining in. And go ahead, everyone. Don't be shy if you would like to be able to get a next reading on air. So again, if you would like to be eligible for the next reading, we're going to choose someone from the chat. All you have to do is drop a 333 in the comments and then stand by for the next instructions. Yo, Katie, thanks for joining in. Daniel, thanks for joining in. And yeah, so again, I just want to be able to make sure that we got at least 4 people who are looking for a reading. And then we'll do one more reading from the chat, and then that will probably go for a little bit. And then, like I said, I got another private reading at 9 p.m. And if you haven't already yet, please feel free to share this broadcast with your friends. And once we confirm that we've got enough people for the reading, then we will move forward with that. And in the meantime, I'm just going to take a quick sip of tea. All right, Irene and David and Daniel, thank you so much for dropping the 333s. Let's see if we can get at least 1 or 2 more. Awesome. All right, and DS Angel. Okie dokie. All right, so it looks like at the moment, at least, there's only 4 people tuned into this who are looking for a reading. I'll just kind of check the numbers real quick. So if anybody here is tuning in right at this second and you would like to be eligible for a reading, go ahead and drop a 333 in the chats real quick. Nice. All right. Sweet. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in on the Instagram feed. Wink. If you want to join in on YouTube, go ahead and swipe up on my story, and we're just going to get into this next reading. So, all right, okay, let's get right into this. And again, thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. So, I'm going to give you a number. The fourth person to enter this number into the chat across the YouTube and across the Facebook and across the Twitch will be the next person that we do this reading for. The number that I'm going to give you is the number 444. So go ahead and drop 444 in the chat. Take a second though, take a breath, because if you're too early, then you know that's how it works. So awesome. Hey Marley, thanks for joining in. All right, so again, if anybody's just joining, drop a 444 into the chat, and if you're the fourth person who enters the chat across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, then we will do a reading for you. And again, thank you to our Patreon supporters who help support us in being able to provide these readings for the community. So, and you can only enter it once. So if you enter it more than once, then that doesn't count. And I'll let you know once I see for certain who that person will be. And thank you again, everyone, for joining in. So, still waiting. We're still waiting. All right, sweet. There it is. Okay, cool. So, DS Angel, guess what? This reading is going to be for you. So, very cool. All right, DS Angel in the Facebook chat. Go ahead, if you, after this, feel free to send me a friend request as well. But also make sure that you send me a direct message, even if you want like an image of the card afterwards. And yeah, and that way I can send you like the image of the write-up as well. And DS Angel tuning in from Belgium, thank you so much. Nice and late in the morning over there, early in the morning. It's like 2 a.m. in Belgium, I think, right now, give or take. So give or take, what time is it in Belgium? All right, sweet. All right, so thank you again, everyone. If you're tuning into this, know that this reading is for you wherever you are. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. We're going to get right into this reading. This will be our last reading for this, but I may jump on a little bit later because I have a private reading at 9 p.m. my time, so in about half an hour. And again, if you are interested in a private reading, go ahead and sign up for my Patreon, and you can always do that. And yeah, and the private readings can like allow us to go a little bit deeper as well. And go ahead and sign for the Patreon to be able to get super awesome light guardian crystals, pew 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 pew, and other cool stuff. We'll talk about that later. Oh yeah, I didn't put my shift button on. Which one should I put on? Here, I'll put on my onk button. There we go. All right, for everybody here, let's get ready for this next and final reading for this broadcast, at least, as I put on my onk button. So, DS Angel, thank you again, and thank you again for joining, and thank you, everyone. So for everybody here, again, allowing you to add your intention, and the simple intention is show us what we need to see. So DS Angel, you're going to drop yourself into your heart space. Just take a couple breaths here. Just be in that space of gratitude, be in that place of just excitement and joy, being surrounded by tribe, community, those of us who are here to be able to help assist with the shift, to make a difference in the world, to work on ourselves, to live an inspired life, and to invite others to do the same. Angel, I invite you to bring yourself to the intention of show me what I need to see. And for everybody here, I invite you to just be in that heart space as well, and you can just imagine all of us in a circle together. And Angel, take a few breaths here, and when you're ready, you're going to type now into the chat with that intention of show me what I need to see, and then I'll split the deck for you. And let me just charge it up real quick. And oh, what mysteries will be seen when we allow ourselves to be awakened within this dream. When we allow ourselves to ask questions as to why it is that we can fly oh so high. Flying within this dream, we can see what has always been the truth and the mysteries between you and me. Allow ourselves to always be dreamers awakening within this shared dream. Awesome. Now, says Angel, DS Angel Lucky Dracaris? Dracaris? As in like dragon, I think. All right. Cool. All right, so the card that we pulled for Angel, who is in our Facebook chat, thank you so much for joining in, is, as I charge up with the light guarding crystal, Flames 7. So allow me to open it up into the deck, into the book, and we'll get right into this. So this is a very, very cool card. I've this card like shows up fairly. Like I've seen this card like multiple times in like just over the past couple months, which I think is fascinating because it's obviously a card that is like wanting to be heard. And that's a beautiful thing when we do these readings. Again, you know, like this is a universe like speaking to itself, speaking to us right here and now. So thank you again, everyone. So again, reminding you that if you are here, this message is for you. So thank you for being here. So looking at this image here, we have a ray of 7 colors shining up into the sky, full rainbow spectrum. We've got violet, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. And we've got this like dark blue night sky, and then we kind of got like this wall. It kind of fades into a gradient of a wall, and then above it is like this landscape of trees and a distant horizon with rolling hills and a nice like white sky. So allow me to read from the book, and in the meantime, just please listen, enjoy, and be open to what this card has for you. And again, if anybody listening to this, if you guys want to sign up for the Patreon while we're doing this, super appreciate it, and then that would help us reach our goal of at least 1 sign up for the Patreon during this broadcast, which continues to support the awesome content that we're creating for the community through this sacred digital space. So thank you again, everyone. You're awesome. All right. 7 of Flames. The image. In front of the apparent obstacle of a wall that separates the cosmic from the earthly, the 7 rays of the spectrum appear bundled into one. Meaning, events can bring about sudden change in life. Symbolically, quality of life takes on a new dimension. Perceptive abilities and the power of recognition experience growth. It is necessary to get a grip on situations and bring them under control, whereby one should remain true to his inner conviction. The real test is a positive attitude toward life. Insight should follow thought, and deed should follow words. Yet, not only are the results of actions of great meaning, but also the manner in which they are carried out. I'll reread that. Yet, not only are the results of actions of great meaning, but also the manner in which they are carried out. Whatever is done should be done wholeheartedly. The situation requires that one bring forth the intensity of his whole being. A half-hearted attitude brings half-hearted results. The signs of the times push for action. In regard to the given circumstances, the choice of the right moment is very important. One should not try to force change. I'm going to reread that part. In regard to the given circumstances, the choice of the right moment is very important. One should not try to force change. If one feels cornered, it would be meaningful to follow the inner urge for freedom. Challenges in the sense of provocation should be avoided. An eventual retreat should not be viewed as flight, but as turning inward. Freedom develops inside, not outside. Astrological significance. Mars, Saturn, septile aspects. Keywords: fearlessness, collected, strength, liveliness, expansion of abilities, conflict resolution, surprises, rebellion, urge for freedom, looking ahead. Traditional meaning: bravery, battle, resistance, pride, rivalry, use of energy and strength, confrontations, threat, malevolence, overcoming obstacles. Yeah, so this is a very, very cool card to be able to receive, and it's definitely like one of my favorite cards. And again, like this card, it really invites us to bring like the full light of our being forward. And with this card, like a lot of it is to like bring forth like the intelligence of what it means to like move forward with mindfulness, of what it means to be conscious, of what it means to be aware. Yet in this consciousness, in our level of awareness, we also develop this state of fearlessness. We allow ourselves the grace and the confidence to move through obstacles with a knowing that we can, with a knowing that these obstacles would only have been put in front of us for us in that sense. So again, the key words in this: fearlessness, collective strength, liveliness, expansion of abilities. This is being able to understand that, like, whatever things may be brought into our life that may feel like obstacles are actually there to teach us a new way of being, are to teach us on how to be able to move forward with more awareness, with the ability of being able to understand that it's not just what the situation is, but it's how we approach it. It's what we bring to it. So the real test in this, as it says, is a positive attitude towards life. So regardless of the situation may be like something incredibly dire, can you bring a positive attitude towards it? And that doesn't mean not feeling your feelings. If anything, it just means to feel your feelings with like more gratitude, with a deeper understanding, with more trust. And as we do this, it allows ourselves to be able to receive what we need from these lessons, what we need from these obstacles, to be able to see the obstacles as teachings, and for us to be able to be the students. And again, it's like when you think about these metaphors, thank you again for those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube. We're just like halfway through the broadcast right now. But again, like when you think about us as like individuals, of us as like humans, the universe is like the teacher and we are the students. And if the student is in a class, the teacher is not going to give them a piece of like like a quiz or an assignment that is above their level. Like say a student's in grade 3, like what type of teacher would be like, oh, here's like your pop quiz on calculus, right? Like the student would just be like, I don't know how to do this. I can't do this, right? So what would the teacher do? It would give something that would be applicable to that student. It would give something that is at their level. It would give something that is not just at their level, but it is meant to take them to the next level. So it is understanding that like whatever test we are being given is given to us to help us graduate. It's given to us to be able to move into that next level. There is nothing that we are given that is given to us by accident. It is only given to us because it was meant for us, because it is meant for us to be able to see ourselves through it. Every event that happens in our life is a mirror. And it's not just the event that happens, it's how we meet ourselves through the process of showing up to the event. So when we have like some sort of challenge or test, do we complain about it? Do we just like be like, oh, this sucks, this is the worst, I don't want to do this? And then you push it away and you procrastinate, and then it prolongs itself for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then you just like, avoid it and stuff like that, and then eventually you do it? Or can you be able to reflect and be like, how is this serving me? How can I be grateful? How can I understand that this test in itself is actually teaching me how to be more patient, to be more resilient, to be more in my own color, to be able to look ahead, to be able to trust in the process? And so again, this card is really acknowledging, like a lot of this card, I feel like there's like this like very like warrior spirit, this very warrior energy that comes forward through this card, like flying the banners of our full colors. Like this is like kind of, it reminds me of that Prodigy song, like Show Your Colors, which is again like very much like what this card has been. What does it mean to show our colors? It means to like show up in pride. It means to like show up in strength. It means to show up in confidence, knowing that again, we are moving forward with the use of our energy and strength in a intelligent way, and in a way that is confident, but also in a way that is graceful as well. And also at the same time, it's very important to understand that this card also says one should not try to force change. So how can we bring about change without forcing it? One of the best ways to bring about change is to not try and force it onto his circumstances, but to change the way we see it, but by changing how we live, by changing ourselves. It's a very fractal circumstances. Like what if, a lot of people just be like, oh, this situation, this is like, I'm like waiting for it to change. But meanwhile, the universe is like, oh, it's not going to change until you change. And once we realize that that's actually the solution, that gives us the upper hand. That gives us the advantage. That gives us the gift of knowing, of higher knowledge, of higher confidence, of being able to like see the future before it happens. So whatever happens to you, be it something that's like super awesome and exciting, or something that's super challenging and sometimes frustrating, allow yourself to be able to reflect and be like, what is this teaching me? What is the medicine in this? What is this giving me? How is this helping me to evolve? Exactly. Misunderstoodmus in the Instagram chat there as well. Morphic, thanks for joining in. I assume this message probably reached you synchronistically at the best time possible. I don't know. I just see your LMAFO comment in there. So again, the other thing in this is that sometimes the best move to do when we feel something that may be like a little overwhelming, instead of just being like, oh crap, I gotta face this, like, okay, here we go, I gotta just like that. Sometimes before we make a choice, we need to be able to connect with our center, connect with our breath, and be able to choose and be able to be like, am I being called into my solitude? Am I being called into a place of just like taking time for myself before I jump back into that situation? And how will that actually give me more ability to be able to approach it with like more mindfulness, instead of like responding instead of reacting, right? So if you have like, so say for example, someone like kind of like does something to you and your initial reaction is like, oh, it gets your blood boiling, and your initial reaction is just like, I just want to go over there and I just want to punch them in their face chakra or something like that, right? Like their face chakra, yeah, that's a thing. We know that wouldn't be the healthy thing to do. So if you feel yourself kind of, as this card says, if you feel yourself feeling like you need to retreat in mindfulness, retreat tactfully, retreat strategically, so that you can show up to the quote unquote battle more ready, more prepared. An eventual retreat should not be viewed as flight, but as turning inward. Freedom develops inside, not outside. So again, I think of this, I get these like very powerful visuals of this is the Flames 7 card, for those of you asking. I see this as a very powerful card that, again, for me, it kind of like, I see this as just kind of like approaching life almost as like the general on the battlefield, in a sense, you know? It's like being very strategic with where we move our energy, where we move our troops, right? So like the enemy, aka a situation within our life, may be kind of like baiting us into like moving all of our troops towards this one section, but then suddenly we get flanked from all sides and then we like lose our troops. It's like more like a video game, right? Instead, we need to be able to like see, anticipate, look ahead, figure out what like may be the next couple steps, and not be afraid to be able to like pull back our troops, retreat, recalibrate, and assess the situation before we make that next move, right? So again, keywords in this: fearlessness, collected strength, liveliness, expansion of abilities, conflict resolution, surprises, rebellion, urge for freedom, looking ahead. So again, for you, DS Angel, I see this as a very powerful card to remind you of your ability to resolve conflict. And how does conflict get resolved? Again, you don't beat hate with more hate. Only love can do that. You have to transmute it. You have to be an alchemist. You have to like bring in that energy of intention that will change the situation. But the only way that's going to change is by doing the inner work, by bringing it from the inside out. Traditional meaning: bravery, battle, resistance, pride, rivalry, use of energy and strength, confrontations, threat, malevolence, overcoming obstacles. So again, as we get close to wrapping up this card, this is a very, very powerful card. This is a very, very powerful card that, again, is like reminding us that like the battles are the quote unquote battles, the obstacles, they're all won inside. They are all fought inside. Like, what if everything is just a reflection for you to be able to like see how you show up to that circumstance? And if you show up in a way where like in the past, maybe like look back like and be like, oh, remember that time when I like just like showed up and I just kind of like got myself into even more of a situation? Learn from that. Take note of that and know that you don't have to repeat that same situation again. And know that this reality is very, 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 very holographic. So again, by you literally just taking that extra moment to slow down, to be even grateful for the situation, like literally that moment when you literally change. For those of you on my Instagram, go to my Instagram story and swipe up on my last story to join on YouTube. I'm only on for like 15 more minutes though. But you're welcome to join. It's YouTube, Skull Babylon. But again, with this card, again, it's like, it's understanding that literally in any situation, it's all holographic. It's all you. It's all mind. When you take that circumstance and you realize that it's actually further inviting you to look within, then you've already won. This is the big kicker. Any situation, any challenge, I want you to be able to practice seeing it from a place of gratitude, to practice seeing it from a place of empowerment. Oh, what's that? You lost your job? Yeah, that sucks. Feel those feelings. That can be a hard blow and a bit of grief. But at the same time, be able to see it as like, oh, okay, the universe must have something better for me. This is opening me up into being able to see more opportunities that maybe I wouldn't have considered before. This is teaching me to be more resilient, more flexible, more diverse in the paths that I choose. So again, it's like being able to understand that like your choice to see a situation is a choice, and you can choose to see it from a place of empowerment or disempowerment. It literally is a choice while still acknowledging whatever feelings you may need to feel. So every single thing is there to serve you. Every single thing is there to help make you stronger. Every single thing is literally there to evolve your soul. That's a very simple but a very, very powerful idea. So bring forth your colors, stand in strength, stand in courage, stand in your ability as an alchemist to know that you can overcome any obstacle that this reality gives to you. And your story is not just your own. And you doing that is going to lead by example and show others how to do the same. So DS Angel, thank you again for helping us pull this card. And I see this as a very powerful card for again, you to be able to be reminded of your ability as a social alchemist, as a person to be able to like move through this life with like grace and confidence and that higher consciousness as well. So shine your colors, shine your light, full spectrum. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in on any platform. DS Angel, go ahead. Let me know how that card resonates with you. And for anybody else, drop an 1111 in the chat to let me know how that card resonated with you as well. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, you can go to my Instagram story and swipe up to join on YouTube. Normally I have like the text down below, but I can't copy and paste it right now. I'll type that in a second, but I'm not on for that much longer, unfortunately, because I have a private reading. DS Angel in the Facebook chat says, easier to say than act, but I try as all of us. Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you, DS Angel. And again, like that's the idea, right? Like no one's expected to be perfect. All that is expected is that we are open to learning, that we are open to growing, that we are open to listening to like what the universe is there to teach us. The universe is on your side. Even when it's challenging you, it is still on your side. Again, it's like the video game. The video game doesn't hate the player. The video game is actually like enticing the player to like get to the next level and to get them ready for the next level. The video game's like, yes, I want you to beat me, and I'm going to give you everything I need to beat me, even if it's challenging, right? So, it's really interesting. Awesome. And again, for anybody else, thank you so much. Placebo, every reading is powerful. Thank you so much. It's really interesting because we've done, this card has come up numerous times. And every time I read it, it's a little bit different, which I think is interesting, right? Because like even for myself, like I'm a voice, I'm a conduit, I'm like the universe speaking through. So it's like the card is going to be different based on when we read it. If I read this card like a month ago, the message would have been a little bit different, which I think is very interesting because again, it just shows that like, hey, I'm growing and learning too. Awesome. All right, thank you again, everyone, for joining in. Brian, Brian, we've done a couple readings on air so far. If you want to join in on the YouTube, you can. We're about to jump off though because I have to move into a private reading. I'm just going to check in real quick. And again, for anybody here, thank you so much for joining in. I maybe, do you guys want me to go on later tonight? Like if I'm back on at like 10 p.m. tonight, will you guys tune in? Let me know. Let me know, like as in 1 hour from now. So it's almost the top of the hour, 1 hour after that. Do you guys want me to come back on for 10 p.m.? Because we were on a little bit earlier and there weren't that many people tuned in. And I know like some people are just kind of just showing up now. It's the time frames. I actually had a troll in here earlier and he was like trying to like harass me and things like that. And then I was all just like block. And then he was like, I've got 49 accounts. And then he came back in again and I'm just like block. I have a very simple policy with trolls. Don't feed the trolls. It's a very simple policy. So and to send them love, but to don't feed them. So, awesome. Thank you, misunderstood mus. Thank you again for joining in. Yeah, Brian, thank you again. And Brian, please feel free to just keep in touch, man, because we always have lots of readings happening. I'm going to be doing some like more readings, especially near the end of the month. And again, so with any of these readings, if anybody is hasn't already yet, please feel free to check out my Patreon. DS Angel, send me a message if you would like. I can send you the screenshot of the write-up here. That way, so you can read the write-up yourself, and then you can kind of like interpret it as well. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna be jumping off here. I have to get ready for the private reading that I'm doing with one of our recent Patreon supporters. And and yeah, again, thank you so much everyone for joining. Yeah, what do you think? Do you guys want me to come back on in an hour? If I do that, who's gonna be here to jump on? And again, with the intention of doing some readings, but also to be able to get some Patreon support. We didn't get any Patreon signups during this broadcast, but we still made some awesome connections. So again, anybody who's joined into this, know that you can sign up for my Patreon at any point, and that is always super appreciated. And again, you can also get a private reading when you do that, and you can get some beautiful Light Guardian crystals as well. So, man, I sent out a bunch of Light Guardian crystals yesterday. Pew, 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 pew. I sent out a package with 8 of them yesterday. It was for like for one of our very, very special Patreon supporters, because they were supporting at like a high level, and they were like, yo, I need lots of Light Guardian crystals to give to friends. So reminder for anybody here, Morphic, Marley, if you guys want to get your Light Guardian crystal, just send me a message, because again, like all you have to do is just be able to like create like either an additional like pay what you wish contribution, or even if you just want to like up your Patreon contribution, and then I can like send a Light Guardian crystal to you as well. So you guys are eligible to be able to get one. And again, I have these for you. So I'm gonna be making some more of them as well. I got some supplies that I want to make into some more. So Flower Power, thank you so much for joining. Yeah, is that okay, Morphic? Am I going to be back at 10 p.m.? You're telling people I'm going to be back at 10 p.m. I guess that makes it official. Yeah, I have to go do a private reading. Divide each of the whole numbers before 7 by 7 and see the same repeating decimal for the... Interesting, Marley. I have to look more into that. So, all right. Okay. Yeah, I got to jump off. My next reading is is coming up right now. So, again, thank you everyone so much for joining in. Yeah, I'll be back. I will be back in about an hour. So does that sound cool for everybody here? If everybody's here is back an hour. Again, if you want to sign up between now and 10 p.m., then you can be the first person for us to do a reading for. Jaywalker, if you're interested, go ahead and check out my Patreon. So yes, do you do free readings? Flower Power is asking. Yes, we do free readings. The way how we do it, I'll just explain it so you guys can tune in later and you know exactly what's going on. It's cool, Morphic. I think I was going to join in anyways. The way how we do it is that at the beginning of a broadcast, we pick someone out of the chat by doing like a number, like choosing thing. And then the next reading that we do after that is for the person who signs up for the Patreon. And Patreon is a super awesome website where people can support artists that they like. And that's with a monthly micro contribution. And so again, when we do these broadcasts, it's about being able to provide like free readings and awesome support for the community, and to be able to also invite people to the Patreon, which adds support, and it allows me to keep creating more awesome content. And yeah, you guys heard, you probably saw my post. Once I reach 300 Patreon supporters, I'm going to go to Rhythmia and document my experience working with ayahuasca. So stay tuned for that. No, seriously, like that's a goal. I'm doing it. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining in. I got to jump off for my private reading. We'll keep an eye on the Patreon, and join back in for 10 p.m. I'll create the link right now, and you'll see it on my profile. And yeah, thank you again, everyone, for joining in. Jaywalker, Morphic, Flower Power, Tasty Placebo, DC Angel, thank you again. DS Angel, thank you again, everyone, and we'll see you very shortly. And if you guys are still chatting in the chat, that's okay. And yeah, we'll jump back in at 10 p.m. for a few more readings. So sweet. All right, have an awesome hour. Go get some fresh air, do whatever you gotta do, and we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks again, everyone. Much love. Wolf Shield signing off. See see you soon. All right. Thanks again. Go team. Love you guys.